A trip to the Elite Eight on the line here in Spokane. Winner will play the winner of USC Kansas State. That game up next. It starts here with Connecticut and Oklahoma. Here we go in the Sweet 16. Right away, Scott diving to the rim. Unable to finish. Good job by Fudd to avoid fouling. Easy Fudd, pull-up jumper, back iron off. Skylar Vann hauls it in for Oklahoma.
You see both teams starting out in man-to-man defense. Both teams like to push the pace, get out in transition. So transition defense for each team going to be important.
And both teams very capable from the three-point line as well. Here's Beers. Over to Scott, deflected by Bueckers. Verhulst swings a pass inside. 7 to shoot. Beers wants a touch, pushed out. Scott with the shot clock fading. Can't hit the runner. Offensive rebound, and the putback is good for Williams.
So you saw Jenna El Alfie playing behind Reagan Beers. The double team came from Paige Bueckers. Beers could have to be a good facilitator in this one if Connecticut continues to send that double.
Here's Bueckers. Pointing out the screen, or pull-up, rims off, and Beers secures the rebound. Beers a three is good. A strong start here for the Sooners. Reagan Beers, her 12th three of the season, was just 1 for 10 in her career at Oregon State. Fudd circling, dishing. Chen guarded by the taller Verhulst, and she traveled. Connecticut led by Gino Auriemma's 31st straight Sweet 16. Jenny Baranczyk leading Oklahoma to its first Sweet 16 appearance since 2013.
You see Connecticut picking up in their full court pressure now. This is an Oklahoma team that has struggled all season long with turnovers, and Connecticut, one of the best teams in the country, taking turnovers and turning them into points quickly the other way.
Here's Williams. Williams spinning in, can't force it home. Vann after it, and it's out of bounds off of Vann. It's going to be Connecticut basketball. One of the keys that Jenny Baranczyk talked to us about was Sahara Williams and Skylar Vann's ability to get on the offensive glass. We've already seen them active there early.
This is an Oklahoma team in the first 2 rounds combined have out-rebounded their opponents by 68.
A historic number. El Alfie can't hit the jumper. I want to welcome all of you who've been watching the first 2 Sweet 16 games today on ABC. 2 terrific games as Williams can't hit the leaner. We saw TCU win a thriller against Notre Dame, and then Texas outlast a terrific effort from Tennessee. 2 games here in Spokane, beginning with this one between Connecticut and Oklahoma, and we're so happy to have you. Here's Scott, pitter-patter dribble, dive inside for 2 plus the foul. A 7-0 beginning for Oklahoma.
This is a great beginning for the Sooners, and they have been aggressive on the offensive end. Getting into the paint, you see it here. Certainly a foul, using strength to get the and-one opportunity.
I thought it was interesting, Rebecca, talking with Jenny Baranczyk yesterday, and she said that game against Iowa in the 2nd round was really the first time she feels like this group has played in a big game and delivered. It's given them a lot of confidence coming into this matchup against Connecticut.
They certainly had some struggles, especially in the month of January, a game where they lost to South Carolina by 40. But this is an Oklahoma team that is playing their best basketball of the season right now.
Bueckers nearly lost it, and now does. Here's Williams off the steal. Scott cross court, has it knocked away by El Alfie, and then the freshman Strong comes down with it for Connecticut. Bueckers a 3 is good. Connecticut on the board, and it probably should have been a 4-point play opportunity.
100% that was a foul. She had her feet completely taken out from under her.
Here's Beers. Beers can't finish on the interior. Here comes Fudd. Fudd fakes the 3, wraps inside, and reverses it in. 5 straight points from Connecticut and a good response.
Izzy Fudd has been aggressive, putting the ball on the deck. We've seen that throughout the course of the first couple rounds of the tournament as well.
Beers can't get the soft roll on that one. Here comes Bueckers. Bueckers pedaling into the paint. Bueckers can't finish, but gets the whistle. And a chance at the line for Paige Bueckers.
It's always a great sign for UConn when Paige Bueckers is aggressive offensively. Watch here. I mean, not only the landing space, she gets hit up top as well. AZ Fudd, just the hesitation finishing on the other side of the rim.
Raina Scott gets whistled for her first personal. You see Fudd taking some deep breaths early as Bueckers makes the first free throw. One of the things that AZ Fudd has talked about, you heard in that clip we played off the top of the broadcast, and Paige's teammates have talked about just the way Bueckers has gone more towards taking over, calling her own number over the last few weeks. Scott can't hit the three, rebound secured by Strong. Been a different level of aggression, which Gino Auriemma has tried to get out of Paige for a while. But Strong had a layup and instead threw it into traffic.
And right now, UConn has gone a little smaller lineup with Alfie out, but no Reagan Beers in the game now for Oklahoma. That gives them more spacing on the floor, players who can shoot from the perimeter. You see Scott posting up on that one.
Early personal on Ice Brady as she was trying to contend with Scott.
One of the things that the UConn coaching staff has been telling Sarah Strong is you need to look to score in this tournament. So certainly not what she did on that last offensive possession.
Verhulst gets denied by Strong. Here comes Bueckers. Bueckers, little shimmy. Jumper won't go. Rebound knocked away. Bueckers has it for two. 9 straight from Connecticut after the 8-0 start from Oklahoma. Bueckers has 7 already. Van has it knocked away. Bueckers the bounce ahead, and Zaya Van is going to pick up the foul as she was holding on to Chen in transition.
Sarah Strong is a terrific shot blocker, and you see her on Verhulst there, and then Paige Bueckers just looking to score, attacks the offensive glass. She has been very aggressive, looking for her offense, as you mentioned, over the course of the last couple weeks.
I mean, Rebecca, how important is that for Connecticut if they're going to win a national championship?
Very. You need a player who can simply take over the game, especially when the opponent is making a run, and that's what we saw in the Big East tournament. Anytime an opponent made a run, Bueckers answered.
Strong can't hit the three. Rebound secured by Scott. Into the game off the bench, Lexi Keys for Oklahoma. And that's a travel on Skylar Van as Oklahoma turns it over.
And last couple of possessions, we've seen turnovers from Oklahoma. And fortunately for them, dead ball turnovers, but that has been their biggest problem this season, averaging just under what? 19 a game.
328th in Division I. There's only 360 plus teams in Division I, so obviously not ideal for an Oklahoma team that's #1 in assists. Here's Fudd diving in, couldn't curl it in, but got fouled. AZ Fudd will shoot free throws. Connecticut on a run here in the Sweet 16. And now for today's Need to Know, brought to you by Intuit QuickBooks. Paige Bueckers, just historically efficient, having a 50-40-90 season. 54% from the floor, 41% from three, 90% from the line, and also leads Division I in assists to turnover ratio. Rebecca, I love when you get an inkling about a stat or something you're observing, because you saw this happen, you said, I feel like this must be historic, and it is.
I make our poor research guys go crazy. No, in the last 25 years, which is when we've been able to keep this data, no women's college basketball player has ever done this, no men's college basketball player, no WNBA player, one NBA player. I mean, it is pretty incredible what this young woman is doing.
Jose Calderon, that one NBA player that's leading the league in assist to turnover ratio while going 50-40-90. Although Calderon technically didn't qualify for it from the NBA because of his free throw attempts. And this game has been one of runs thus far. Oklahoma starts it on an 8-0, but Connecticut responds with a 9-0 run.
Oklahoma doing a good job early, getting the looks that they wanted, taking care of the ball early. KK Arnold in the game now for UConn. She is such a disruptor on the defensive end of the floor.
We've seen her play some of her best basketball against the best competition as well. Be a real factor off the bench. Reagan Beers back in for Oklahoma. Here's Keys.
Look at Reagan Beers surrounded by 3 white jerseys.
Scott able to find some space on the interior and end the 10-0 Connecticut run. Liz Scott of his last year with an injury, the senior from Houston, Fudd off on that one. Rebound secured by the freshman, Zaya Van, who has really come on over the last few weeks. Has it taken away here by Arnold. Up ahead to Shade in the sunlight.
This is what happened in Connecticut's second-round matchup against South Dakota State. KK Arnold came in and just changed the energy on the defensive end for UConn, helped lead to easy buckets the other way.
Ashlyn Shade, the Big East 6th Woman of the Year. A tie up here, and an offensive foul is called on Williams. Sahara Williams very upset with the personal, her first.
Reagan Beers draws so much defensive attention. Watch when she gets on the block. Pause it here. She is surrounded by 1, 2, 3 defenders. That's going to leave the clear driving lane on the other side.
Your players talk about understanding their gravity. That's part of it. As Strong can't hit the 3, Scott the rebound. Here comes Raina Scott. Williams left alone, short on a 3. Bueckers the board, up ahead to Fudd. Connecticut a 2-point lead, first quarter action, Sweet 16 here in Spokane. Bueckers mid-range off. And the rebound taken in by Keys, nearly turned it away. Scott, nice look, back to Keys, in and out on a 3. Beers kept off the glass by Strong, and it tilts out of bounds to Connecticut as we check in with Holly Rowe.
In that last timeout, Jenny Baranchek of Oklahoma was upset about how her team got off to a great start, and then they've started to take quick shots. They're playing agitated, jumping up and down, and not being themselves. She said the ball has to touch both sides of the floor. We've got to move the ball. We are not making UConn work. We've just got to be more steady right now. She thinks they're too sped up.
Thank you, Holly, as Bueckers almost never sped up, has 9 now in this first.
Especially when Reagan Beers is in the game, you have to look to try to play through her as they're doing right now. See if she can draw some more of that defensive attention and open up teammates.
Scott fakes the 3, drives it inside, lost it. 6th turnover the quarter for Oklahoma. Here's Fudd. Attacks the closeout. Bueckers wants the screen from Strong. Pull-up jumper is good. Paige Bueckers on a heater has just tied Tina Charles for 4th most points in Connecticut history.
Especially with UConn in their small lineup. Reagan Beers having to guard Sarah Strong. That is a tough matchup for Oklahoma, especially in that 2-man game.
Beers inside. Tough matchup on the other end for Sarah Strong.
Absolutely is, so you have to take advantage of it. Reagan Beers so good, using her strength inside.
KK Arnold wiggles into a whistle on Scott, and that is going to be foul number 2 on Liz Scott.
The 2-man game. Sarah Strong comes over, drop coverage by Beers. Paige Bueckers so good, pulling up in the mid-range.
Bueckers tying Tina Charles 4th place on the all-time scoring list in Connecticut history. Up after Tina is the great Nafisa Collier, who was absolutely incredible in Minnesota's run to the finals this past WNBA season. And Arnold goes 1 for 2 at the line, as Jenna El-Alfi will come back in for Fudd as UConn adjusts with Beers on the floor for Oklahoma.
Yeah, El-Alfi is a better matchup because of her size and strength to try to counter what Reagan Beers can do on the block.
Beers first team All-SEC this season. Here's Verhulst. Cross court, Todd will fire. Off the mark, rebound underneath El-Alfi, able to keep Oklahoma off the offensive glass. Inside, Strong gets stripped, controlled by Top. Sahara Williams looks cross court and nearly throws it to us. That is a 7th turnover for Oklahoma. Hey, for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. You're home for all 90 NCAA championships.
When you watch Oklahoma play or watch a lot of film of Oklahoma, they have 4 or 5 of those a game.
Yeah.
That turnover we just saw, just sort of an inexplicable decision to make a pass where it's not really a forced turnover.
And Jenny Baranczyk felt like they got better at that as the season went along, but talked about how it's critical to not make those mistakes against a team like Connecticut. As Bueckers can't hit, Shade had it in her hands, had it poked away. Todd has it deflected. Shade able to control the steal. Here's Bueckers backdoor extra feed. El Alfie flips it off. 5-point Connecticut lead. About a 12-second difference, game and shot clock towards the end of this first. Verhulst, too much on it. Strong collects the rebound. Connecticut has won the battle on the glass in this opening quarter. Significant given those numbers Rebecca told you earlier about how Oklahoma has just dominated the glass. A plus 68 on the glass through their first 2 games of the tournament. 5 seconds left. Bueckers bounces away, lost the handle out of bounds, and Connecticut turns it over for a 5th time. Verhulst hauls it in. Beers gets a good look. Leaves it short, and that's how the first quarter will end. Oklahoma started this game on an 8-0 run, but Connecticut leads 17-12 after 1. A trip to the Elite 8 on the line. Jenny Baranczyk chats with Holly when we come back. Getting ready for the start of the second quarter. Connecticut leads Oklahoma 17-12 moments ago. Holly Rowe with the coach's interview brought to you by Symetra.
Well, Coach, your team got up to a strong start, and then UConn went on a run. What are you frustrated with right now?
Well, we just have to stay steady. I mean, we're just playing a little too much hero ball, and we're turning the ball over like crazy. So obviously they're so good. You can't do that. So we just have to steady up and just do what it is that we do.
Defensively, you have forced 5 turnovers for them. Where can you settle in on defense?
Well, I think if we could settle in, I think we do a much better job when we're playing team defense than when we're turning it over and just giving them opportunities at the rim. So if we can keep it that way, then maybe better things happen for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Paige Bueckers, when she gets an on-ball screen from Sarah Strong and Reagan Beers defending her with drop coverage. The mid-range is going to be there the entire time. She is calling for Sarah Strong to come set that screen anytime she sees Reagan Beers as the defender.
How about, Rebecca, what was Oklahoma able to do as you see Bueckers with her 9th 10-point first quarter this season, most in Division I? What was Oklahoma able to do early in the game to get out to an 8-0 lead that they struggled with then as the quarter went along?
I think they pushed tempo well, which they were able to do because UConn started missing so many shots. They did not have to inbound the basketball, deal with UConn's full court pressure. They could get the defensive board, push, get a good look, whether that was in the interior, driving to the basket, or from the perimeter.
17-12, Connecticut leads Oklahoma. Start of the second quarter of this Sweet 16 matchup. Here's the freshman Strong, giving it up. Bueckers gets fouled by Van, and that is going to be number 2 on Zaya Van. That was her issue earlier in the season. This is a freshman who's made a huge impact on winning both offensively and defensively over the last month and a half, but has been able to stay on the floor, and now obviously goes to the bench with her second.
Yeah, she can be a really pesky defender and important for Oklahoma on that side, as well as a dribble penetrator on the offensive end.
Brady off on the jumper. Scott the rebound. Connecticut's had some good looks, unable to cash in and extend their lead. Verhulst avoids the steal. Can't hit the 3. Shade keeps it in bounds. Wants to give UConn the opportunity to run. Backdoor, Fudd finds Bueckers in the corner. Good job by Oklahoma to close out quickly, not allow those attempts from three. Here's Fudd, baseline kick. Bueckers a deep three, off. Rebound Shade, another chance here for Connecticut. Strong, no hesitation, can't put it in. Connecticut shooting just 30% from the floor in the early going. Sarah Strong yet to score in this game. Here's Verhulst, she got it on a three. Peyton Verhulst, who is very capable from deep.
Peyton Verhulst, one of those players, if she does not start the game shooting well, she does not care. She's got that shooter's mentality to continue to look for her shot.
Oklahoma had missed 8 straight threes as Shade answers with one of her own. A 41% three-point shooter, Ashlyn Shade. Van, great fake. Drives it, pulls, and gets the roll.
Verhulst's last possession, Van this possession, both able to score, but I thought on both instances, Reagan Beers had her defender sealed inside, and they did not give her the ball.
Connecticut throws it away. Here's Scott diving in, the Euro and the lay from Marina Scott, and a good start to the second for Oklahoma, leaving Gino Auriemma befuddled. (20-19), Connecticut leads. Fudd's three, she got it. First attempt of the day from three for Azzi Fudd, who's now 10 for 15 from deep in this tournament. Williams on a great delivery from Beers.
Oh, what a great backdoor cut. She saw that Shade was denying on the wing. It was the empty side of the floor, cut right to the basket.
Here's Shade. Both teams finding a little rhythm now offensively. Bueckers accelerates through the lane and it's stripped. Beers comes up with it after Scott got a hand on it. Verhulst from the logo. Oh my!
Peyton Verhulst is capable of hitting those long-range shots. We talked about her confidence already. Stepped into that one like it was easy.
Oklahoma back in front. A little 9-3 push from the Sooners. Brady, no. Scott gets fouled by Fudd, and that will be number 1 on Azzi Fudd.
Look at the depth on this shot. A legit logo three as her left foot was in it. Steps in, eyes on the rim the entire time. Makes it look like a layup.
Peyton Verhulst, a very intriguing pro prospect. She's going to come back for another season at Oklahoma. Got a waiver to do so, but all SEC second team, a very big guard who can shoot it and makes an impact defensively. A true 6'1". Here's Verhulst. Verhulst with size, there you go, able to post and finish.
One of the things I love about her game is the physicality. She has a strong frame. You saw her use it there, create a little bit of contact to get the space so she could finish.
Strong cradling inside. That won't drop either for Sarah Strong. 0 for 5 to start this game. Shot 84% the first two. Verhulst on a heater. $11 for Peyton Verhulst. Bueckers trying to respond, cannot. It's a 6-point Oklahoma lead. Verhulst wants it. Todd gives it to her. Culleton into the game, her first minutes. Here's Van turning, can't hit. Strong secures the rebound. A great response from Oklahoma in this second quarter, a 10-0 run. Here's Strong. Strong to the corner, Fudd a good look. Off, Shade, a really good offensive rebounding guard in a crowd and a tie-up. Possession arrow belongs to Oklahoma.
Peyton Verhulst steps into another three. She's really come alive here in the second quarter.
Holly?
Well, Peyton Verhulst is one of 6 kids. I asked her who taught her to shoot, and she said, everybody in my family. My parents both played in college. My survive and advance was in my backyard as a kid. I've grown up taking those shots and making those shots against my bigger, older siblings. I've had to. That's how I grew up learning how to play the game.
I love that, Holly. She said it was survive and advance in my backyard just like it is in this tournament. KK Arnold dips free and lays it in. A much-needed bucket for Connecticut. Lob it in. Culleton has it knocked away by Strong. Here's Chen. Thought on the bench at the moment for Connecticut. Shade short. Connecticut 3 for 8 from downtown. Oklahoma 4 for 13. Here's Verhulst. Dishing. Gets it back. Knocked away and a foul. This time it'll be on Sarah Strong. Her first. 4:17 to go in the second quarter of this Sweet 16 matchup. It's Oklahoma leading by 4. Kelsey, it has been an incredible day of basketball. Paige Bueckers 11 in the first quarter. Peyton Verhulst 11 in the second for Oklahoma. Nice play out of the timeout. And Williams lays it in as we check in with Holly.
Well, Gina Oriama has taken Paige Bueckers out of the game right now. He is furious with her about the defense that she's playing. She was so great offensively, but she's giving up plays. He really challenged her in that last timeout. And again, she's sitting here and he's just like, what the heck, Paige? He's mad at her right now with the defensive intensity.
Well, she was the one guarding Peyton Verhulst, and we saw after Peyton hit the logo 3, a couple possessions later, came down and stepped into a relatively open wing 3 as well.
Here's Keys. Off to Williams, into Beers, knocked away and taken by Chen. Also been a quiet first half for Sarah Strong. The freshman has looked a little in between in her decision-making on the offensive end, which is unlike what we usually see from Strong.
It's the first time all season that we have seen her look a little bit undecisive.
Bud can't hit the jumper. That 3 off for Williams. Rebound left for Strong, who does have 7 boards. Here comes Arnold. Arnold finds Chen, open baseline, wanted to drive it. Wide open 3 for Strong. Can't hit. Chen an offensive rebound. Another chance here for Connecticut.
UConn's guards have done a terrific job getting on the offensive glass.
Here's Shade, she'll fire, and hit from 3. Ashlyn Shade now with 8 points off the bench for Connecticut.
She's made a real difference for UConn so far in this half. We saw her have an incredible performance in their big win over South Carolina in February.
Beers dumps it down, Chen intercepts it. Here comes Chen with haste, off to Shade, wanted another, will take. No. And it's out of bounds to Oklahoma. Paige Bueckers coming back in. A coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues tonight on CBS and TBS. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. This march has just felt lovely so far, hasn't it?
It's been a delightful march,
my
Ryan.
goodness. Our games today so far have all been great as Verhulst on the cut in the finish.
And there's space on the left side of the floor because Beers was on the right side. That's where the defensive attention was. Great back cut.
5-point Oklahoma lead. Here's Fudd. Leaning jumper, won't go. AZ Fudd been pretty quiet too. Bueckers can't hit. Strong finally gets one to drop. Connecticut's offensive rebounding, saving them right now. Strong's first field goal of the game. Strong, a player who's been incredibly efficient this year, shot it at 59% from the floor as a freshman.
Can take a lot out of you defensively, trying to get Reagan Beers out of the paint as well.
And she spent a lot of time on her with Connecticut playing small. Verhulst handles the juggle. 2 to shoot. Scott has to launch it up, nearly banks it in. Here's Bueckers. Strong left alone, didn't take. Now Strong puts it on the deck and gets the whistle against Beers. That'll be the first foul called on Reagan Beers. Significant because so often Reagan Beers deals with foul trouble.
Yeah, she really does, and it keeps her off of the floor often. And with just the live eye, it looked like this was a clean block. She gets on a shoulder.
I think she gets some body there, but not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot.
I'd be upset at that if I was Oklahoma. Meanwhile, again, Strong was hesitant from a good look from 3 at the start of the possession. Ends up working out with a trip to the line. Let's take one more look, Rebecca. I mean, there's body there. I don't know if it was enough to call a foul.
Yeah. But again, if Reagan Beers can get to the half, only having 1 foul, that is a great sign for both her and Oklahoma.
Strong hits both free throws. Sarah Strong, 73% from the line on the season, and now Strong will check out. El Alfie in to defend Beers. One of the things Gino Auriemma talked to us about was just the ability to play with depth this season. Finally having a year not besieged by injury like what Connecticut has experienced over the last few years.
KK Arnold now has the defensive assignment on Peyton Verhulst.
Here's Verhulst, another 3. In and out on a good look. Then El Alfie just fumbles the rebound out of bounds.
The UConn coaching staff so upset with KK Arnold there because she went behind the screen and they're telling her we've got to fight over on Verhulst. Jenna El Alfie just loses the ball.
So another chance here for Oklahoma. Connecticut has turned it over 8 times in the half. Oklahoma 11. Here's Beers to come. Chen wanted to poke it. Here's Scott. She got it.
Great job moving the ball around. Raina Scott's defender left to go help inside. Went back out with it, and she got a great open look.
5th 3 of the half for Oklahoma. 4-point lead for the Sooners. A trip to the Elite 8 on the line. Shade gives it up. 10-second difference game in shot clock. Bueckers looked like she was grabbed, no call. Here comes Oklahoma with the shot clock turned off. The Sooners are going to take a lead into halftime. The question is, by how many points? Poked away. Scott lost it. 5 seconds left to operate. Chen dives in, gets denied by Verhulst, and it last hits Chen out of bounds to Oklahoma.
Great block that time by Verhulst. She's going to get done on both ends of the floor.
2.2 remaining in the half. Inbound, bounces free, taken by Fudd, and that'll do it for the second quarter. Oklahoma outscores Connecticut 24-15 in the second, and they take a 4-point lead into halftime. Peyton Verhulst is with Holly Rowe.
Peyton, you did not score in the first quarter. What changed for you in the second quarter to get so hot?
I think we just started running our offense. Obviously, coming in, we knew for the first couple minutes there's going to be a lot of adrenaline. So I think just settling into our offense and playing Oklahoma basketball.
I love your team first idea, but I'm really talking about you. You're taking logo 3s out here. Where did you start to feel comfortable?
I mean, Jenny has just been pouring to me all this tournament, and even the first 2 rounds I was struggling a little bit with shooting, and she just kept pouring into me and my teammates too. Even when I miss, they don't tell me to quit shooting. They keep telling me to keep shooting. So
sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, Peyton Verhulst with 13 second quarter points, and Oklahoma a 4-point lead at the half. Time to get things to the Shea Moisture halftime report. Kelsey, Muffet, and Megan. Oklahoma 36-32 lead on Connecticut in this Sweet 16 matchup. We welcome you courtside once again, Ryan Rucco, alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Oklahoma able to have a big second quarter as we check out how they are fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's.
Reagan Beers with 5 points in that first half, but her impact could be felt everywhere. Look at the defensive attention she's getting on the right side of the floor. That leaves an open lane for Verhulst to cut backdoor. Here, Beers delivering the pass to the cutter as well. Sets a great screen on the inbound play to get a teammate open, and once again, the floor is tilted. She is surrounded. Terrific passer. Finds the weak side out pass, ends up as a hockey assist for Reagan Beers, drawing so much defensive attention, impacting this game.
Let's check out today's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Record by halftime score this year, Oklahoma 22-0 when leading, Connecticut 0-2 when trailing. How about Paige Bueckers? 11 first quarter points, none in the second. Peyton Verhulst did not score in the first, then had 13 in the second. One other thing of note, Paige Bueckers did not have a single assist in that first half. Jenny Baranczyk had told us, look, we understand Paige can score. We don't think we're going to be able to take that away. What we don't want is a 10-assist game from her. Well, that game plan worked in the first half. Here's Chen bouncing back door. Bueckers blows the layup. Alfie keeps it alive just momentarily. It's out of bounds off of Scott. Another chance here for Connecticut.
Oklahoma has done such a good job of getting UConn out of their rhythm. UConn is a rhythm offensive team. They are at their best when they're sharing the ball. High assists, only 5 assists in that first half for the Huskies.
Connecticut missing some good looks too in that first half. Here's Fudd. Off to Bueckers, wide open three is good. That's the delivery Paige Bueckers and Connecticut needed to begin the third. Last time Connecticut won an NCAA tournament game when trailing at the half was 2021 in the Elite Eight. Against Baylor as Bueckers comes up with a swat.
Paige Bueckers does not get enough credit for being a terrific defensive player, and she gets plenty of credit for this. 40% plus three-point shooter, but on the defensive end, she uses her length really well, blocks shots really well.
Also averages more than 2 steals a game as Van splash on the jumper. Skylar Van, co-Big 12 Player of the Year a season ago, struggled scoring at the end of this year, but very productive the first 2 games of this tournament. 24 points, then 17, efficient in both as well. Bueckers again. Paige Bueckers starting to feel it here.
And I think she can continue to get to that spot as long as the screen is set by whoever Reagan Beers is guarding. She plays drop coverage.
They dump it into Beers. Beers can't finish. Now Alfie the rebound. Bueckers pushing pace. Fudd weaving. Williams scrapes it away out of bounds. Stays with the Huskies.
So Janet Alfie sets the screen. Where is Reagan Beers? Dropped deep into the post. Paige Bueckers can get to a really good spot for her and a very good look.
Here's Strong. Chen, good cut, extra feed. Alfie gets stoned. Then Chen keeps it alive. Chen diving in and hooking it home, puts Connecticut back in front. Good start to the third for the Huskies. That's thrown away, and those are the turnovers you're talking about, Rebecca. And Jenny Baranczyk, understandably irate with that kind of mistake.
I'm telling you, 4 or 5 times every game, and this is the second one we've seen where it's just a random bad pass.
14 turnovers now for Oklahoma. They turn it over nearly 19 times per game. Obviously ahead of that pace right now. Strong bounces in. Alfie gets fouled by Beers, and that will be number 2 on Reagan Beers, who didn't pick up her first till there was 1:15 to go in the first half. Jan Alfie at the line for a little more on her. Here's Holly.
Well, Paige Bueckers' most important assist this season has been helping her teammate Janet Alfie, who's from Egypt. She is currently celebrating Ramadan, which is fasting from sunrise until sunset. You do not eat. And so Paige will wake up at 5 a.m. and cook and make sure she has a very hearty meal to make sure Janet has the energy she needs all day. It's challenging to play and have athletic feats during this time of year, but she is very devout, wants to make sure that is a sacrifice she's making. Ramadan does end tomorrow, but Paige Bueckers and Jana working together to make sure their teammate has all the support she needs.
Great story, Holly, as Van can't hit the 3. Zaya, the younger sister of Skylar. Here's Chen up ahead. Fudd fakes the 3, dishes out. Alfie, a deep catch here, spinning, can't float it in. And a foul on Alfie trying to follow up the miss. I thought Paige was funny too. She said, I'm not gonna go the whole day without eating. I can't be that in it with her, but I can get up and cook for her.
And she talked about how important Paige did. It was when she was coming back from injury to have other players and teammates who were there to support her. So she wanted to be there for Jana in this time to be a great support.
Here's Scott diving in and laying it home.
Just a great job by Liz Scott to attack the basket, get into the paint.
Bueckers, you bet! Paige Bueckers on a bum. 19 points for Bueckers now at 11 in the first. Didn't score in the second, has 8 already in the third. Knocked away, then Chen lost it herself. Skylar Vann gets tied up, and the possession arrow stays with Oklahoma.
Paige Bueckers stepping confidently into this three. He's got some depth on it as well. And then on the other end, she prevented the pass from coming into a cutting Peyton Verhulst. Paige Bueckers doing it on both ends.
Verhulst bounces in. Scott, good footwork. Can't quite finish it. Scott able to wrestle to the rebound. She was taking a lot of contact from Sarah Strong as well. No foul called on Strong. And this time the possession arrow belongs to Connecticut.
Both teams now have gone with their smaller lineup, which will leave more space in the interior as they can have 5 out. Multiple players with the ability to make threes. No anchors inside.
Here's Shade, off to Chen, working behind Shade. Chen hits the deck. Fudd racing inside, lays it in beautifully with the left hand.
She went right at Peyton Verhulst, who is a big, strong defender. AZ Fudd unbothered.
Here's Vann to her sister. They have such an age gap. They never got to play together in their youth. Here in college, playing together for the very first time in just this season, as Skylar Vann will graduate and move on. Meanwhile, Zion having all kinds of trouble. Bueckers off the steal, and Chen with the lay. An 11-2 Connecticut run, fueled by their defense here in this third. Oklahoma up to 16 turnovers for the game. Zaya slips, can't finish. Here comes Bueckers. Connecticut with numbers. Bueckers pull-up is good. Paige Bueckers taking over. 21.
Gino Auriemma refers to Paige Bueckers as the most unguardable player in the country. She has come alive here again in the third. Feeling it for her team.
The NCAA Women's Championship continues tomorrow with 2 Elite 8 games on ABC and the ESPN app. Duke squares off against South Carolina at 1 Eastern, and then LSU takes on UCLA in a rematch. That's tomorrow on ABC and the ESPN app. Holly, a little injury update for us?
Yes, LSU's leading scorer, Flau'jae Johnson, took a hit to the eye, was unable to return to the game last night. But I checked in with their great PR director, Grant Kavar, and he said, Flau'jae woke up today saying, I feel great. I thought it was game day. She's ready to play. She went through practice. Her eye is fine. I did hear her on the bench last night saying, I can't see anything. So it was concerning, but the good news is 1 night's sleep, she is healed and ready to go.
My favorite Holly Rose sideline report, perhaps ever, was yesterday when she said that Flau'jae told the trainer, can you just tape my eye open?
Not an option, anatomically.
That's how I felt as a mother of a newborn. Can you just tape the eyes open?
48-40, Connecticut in front, largest lead of the game. Bueckers with 10 in the quarter. She had 11 in the first, didn't score in the second. It was a big Oklahoma second to build a halftime lead. Here's Verhulst finally getting a touch here for Oklahoma. Verhulst can't get it to drop, and Bueckers tracks down the board.
And again, early in that possession, Reagan Beers had her defender sealed, and they tried to give her the ball on the wrong side, so it got tipped away.
Bueckers accelerates, difficult look, won't drop. Beers secures it. Here's Todd, who's getting a lot of minutes in this game for Oklahoma. Bueckers faked the three and then turned it over instead. Was trying to get it to Williams, who was establishing position on the interior. Strong a three off. Todd flings it down the floor. Beautifully done. Bueckers can't finish it. Looked like she might have gotten hit on the wrist by Bueckers.
Yes, it did.
No call there. Here's Shade cupping it in with the left hand, and a big swing one end to the other there in favor of Connecticut.
I was about to say that's a little bit of a force by Ashlyn Shade, but that's one of those no, 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 yes moments for the UConn coaching staff.
10 points off the bench for Shade, an 11-0 Connecticut run. Verholtz can't answer there. Connecticut trailed by 4 at the half. Fudd kicks it out, Strong left alone, connects on a three. It's a 13-point Connecticut lead and a 14-0 run here in the third. Bueckers dishes out. Keys wants to go inside. Bueckers will try a three. No. Rebound, Fudd. Shade with some space. Off to Bueckers. Bueckers dishing. Strong, the fake, the take, and the hit. It's a 16-0 Connecticut run. Bueckers gets a touch inside and finishes through the contact as Strong picks up her second.
Sarah Strong and the UConn Huskies have done a much better job, more efficient job here in the third, draining threes.
And still to come, Kiki Iriafen. And how about Aoka Lee, Kansas State, USC. Now it's time for Get More, brought to you by Geico.
What a quarter for Paige Bueckers. You see the defense leave her wide open. Miscommunication. She steps into that one. That's like a layup for Paige Bueckers. Then coming off the on-ball screen with drop coverage. Hits the mid-range. Then the deep three, getting it done defensively as well, leading to an easy fast break opportunity the other way.
Well, Paige Bueckers, let's take a look at our player spotlight, brought to you by Hilton Garden Inn. 11 points in the first, didn't score in the second, already has 10 here in the third. And, you know, we've talked about it already in this game and talked about it throughout the season. There are moments where Connecticut needs Paige to just take things over. And there's been times where Gino Auriemma has been trying to figure out how he can push that switch, or maybe push that button or flip that switch. For Paige Bueckers, it feels like later in this season, both Paige, Gino have figured it out, and it's made a big difference for UConn.
Well, I think Coach Auriemma would argue that he figured it out a long time ago. Paige finally has, but you saw it a lot throughout the course of the Big East tournament. Anytime a team made a run, Paige would just look to score and stem the tide.
KK Arnold into the game for Connecticut. Hazy Fudd told us no one can stop Paige when she's in one of those zones, and she said we need a nickname for it. Here's Bueckers. Bueckers looking to take Scott. Back ironing off that time for Bueckers, and Liz Scott the rebound for Oklahoma. Under 2 minutes to go in the third of this Sweet 16 matchup. Scott buries the three, and Oklahoma with 5 straight.
This is an Oklahoma lineup where all 5 are capable of draining threes.
Fudd left alone, couldn't connect. Williams the rebound. An opportunity for the Sooners to cut a little closer. Fudd just takes it away. 18th turnover for Oklahoma. Bueckers into the corner. Arnold will fire. No. Thrown away again. 19 turnovers for Oklahoma. Bueckers trying to fend off some contact and got hooked by Scott. Just the second foul of the quarter on Oklahoma, so side out here for Connecticut as Scott picks up her third. Bueckers 21 points, 5 rebounds. Shade turns and banks it in. How good has Ashlyn Shade been off the bench for Connecticut?
Just a little flex cut action where you get the baseline screen, defender gets caught up, and Shade able to finish inside. She certainly plays bigger than her size.
Another Oklahoma turnover. Fudd pull-up three off. Bueckers tips it. Skylar Van in the corner, turns it over. Shade and then gets blocked. Here comes Oklahoma, nearly turning it over again. And a foul called on Ashlyn Shade, who's frustrated, felt like she got fouled, taking a three in the corner. And I think Gino Auriemma was saying you didn't have to shoot that in the corner on the previous possession. And after taking it away, Oklahoma is up to a Zoftig 21 turnovers in this game thus far.
I mean, this is one of those plays, and I don't know, did she get hit on the guideline?
I'm not sure. Verhulst might have gotten hit herself there, looking for this look out. Ashlyn Shade certainly got hit that time as Reagan Beers took a big shit, and Ashlyn Shade telling her teammates, just give me a moment. Ooh, saying, I'm okay, give me a moment. Help to her feet.
Ashlyn Shade coming in to crash the boards, and Reagan Beers going for the basketball, just hits her in a tough position. Yeah.
Oh, that is a hard fall.
Yes, yes.
That is number 3 on Reagan Beers.
Ashlyn Shade's a tough kid. She's one of those ones, if she needs a moment to get up, you know that she took a hard fall.
Shot clock turned off here. 8 turnovers in the quarter for Oklahoma, none for Connecticut. Shade drives it, bounces wide open, Strong lays it in. A masterful third quarter from Connecticut. They outscore Oklahoma 27-10 in the frame and are 10 minutes away from a trip to the Elite Eight. Gino Auriemma chats with Holly when we return. Well, Gino Auriemma's team turned a 4-point halftime deficit into a 13-point lead after 3 moments ago. The Connecticut head coach with Holly Rowe.
Coach, you're down at the half. What did you ask of your kids to come out and start the third quarter in the way that they did?
Well, I thought we made a couple of really silly mistakes defensively in the first half. And even still, I thought our defense was really good. They're a high-scoring team. So I just thought at some point we're going to start making some of the shots that we were missing. I mean, we haven't shot the ball this poorly all season long. But this is what happens when you get here, right? So we just had to keep doing what we were doing. And eventually, if we keep getting those same looks, they're going to start to drop. And I think we've been a little better defensively at putting pressure on the ball itself. So we got a long way to go. But, you know, I was really proud of them the way we came out.
You have spent a career trying to get Paige Bueckers to know when to take over games. What did you assess of that third quarter of how she started to do that?
Yeah, I think that's it's better, but there's times when she has the ball and the defense they know she's not going to shoot it, and I'm thinking, shoot it. You know, you're open, and you know, so hopefully in the fourth quarter she'll just, I don't know. Maybe you should talk to her.
Thank you.
A great interview with Gino Auriemma. Today's coaches interview brought to you by Symetra. Start of the fourth quarter in Spokane, Washington. Sweet 16 matchup. The winner of this game will play the winner of USC and Kansas State coming up next here on ESPN. Third of 4 games today, and they have all been interesting action. Saw TCU win a tight one against Notre Dame, then Texas hold off Tennessee, and Connecticut was down 4 at the half. 13-point lead, though, as they start the fourth.
And for Oklahoma to really make a charge in this one, number one, they need to take care of the basketball. As you see, a great entry pass that time into Reagan Beers. They also need to get some more production from Peyton Verholz. She was so electric in that second quarter.
At 13 points in the second, did not score in the third on 3 field goal attempts. Bueckers lobs it over to Strong. Catch, fire, short. Chen bats it alive. Well, Connecticut had just 8 total points in the paint at the half. They had 14 in the third quarter. Verholz gets a touch there, but leaves it short. Beers trying to secure it, could not. Zaya Vans had a quiet day, gets fouled here. It'll be Strong, and that is Sarah Strong's third, as Beers is a little hobbled, being helped up by Skylar Van. And
she clutched at her knee, Ryan.
Yeah.
She first went down.
First team All-SEC member. Eight points today. It doesn't feel like Beers has gotten a ton of good looks on the interior like we're used to today with Beers.
Well, she's drawn so much defensive attention from UConn, so she's been impactful on how she's been able to open up other players, just hasn't gotten a lot of touches, and sometimes she's open and they've missed her.
Nearly another turnover for Oklahoma. They've done that 21 times, as you see Reagan Beers getting medical attention there and grimacing as she does. Certainly hope the best for Reagan Beers, one of the best bigs in the country. Verholz lost the handle, 2 to shoot, flings it up and off. Rebound loose on the floor, corralled by Sarah Strong for 11th rebound of the day. Another double-double for Sarah Strong. Started this game 0 for 6, but has made 4 of her last 6 shots. Bueckers patiently reading the defense. Bueckers gets it back, will pop, and hit from Tacoma. Paige Bueckers up to 24 points. A 16-point Connecticut lead. On the glass, Strong commits her 4th foul.
Paige Bueckers knows the shot clock is going down. She glances up. The soon as she sees it, it's at 5 seconds, and there's not going to be much opportunity to do anything else. Just steps right into it.
Strong with her 4th foul will be checked out for Jenna Al-Alfi, it seems. Reagan Beers, a little update now from Holly Rowe.
Yeah, she's headed back to the locker room right now. She is experiencing some discomfort on the back of her left knee. I saw the athletic trainer massaging it, and Reagan, when is quite a bit appears, oh, she's gonna get on the bike. And she just was in a lot of pain, kind of where your hamstring meets the back of your knee. They're trying to massage that, work that out, and it looks like she's moving pretty well on the bike right now.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Reagan Beers, an essential member of Oklahoma this season in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2013. Beers 0 for 5 from the floor since the first quarter when she went 2 for 5. Bueckers twisting into 2 plus the foul.
Paige Bueckers has a remarkable ability to get her shoulders squared even when her feet are not, and to absorb contact and still finish on her follow-through. Here, feet kind of kicking out to the side, shoulders square. She's feeling good about that one.
Bueckers with 26, tied her career high with 34 in her final game at Gamble Pavilion in the second round. She's been efficient again. She's also 4 for 5 from 3, the most threes she's hit in a tournament game. Connecticut lead is 16. Into the corner, Zaya, man, can't get it to drop. Al-Alfi brought it down in a crowd and then dribbled it out of bounds. Connecticut turns it over for the first time since halftime. Oklahoma, as you've seen, they use their bench a lot. Wholesale substitutions is not quite what you saw with Tennessee earlier today. where Kim Caldwell is constantly line changing and doing so in very short spurts, but Oklahoma will sub in 2 or 3 at a time in rather rapid intervals.
Great to see Reagan Beers back on the floor.
Verhulst can't get that to drop, and a foul going the other way. That's going to be on Beers. Back into the game, Rebecca, as you called, but now picking up her 4th personal. So Sarah Strong and Reagan Beers each with 4 with 7:17 to go. The contact there from Beers on El Alfie. Bueckers back to work. Bueckers again.
Just a little screen. That's all she needs to get the space, to get to the area of the floor where she can elevate and finish.
This one's going to be a foul on El Alfie.
It's a little screen, this time from El Alfie. We've talked about it all game. The drop coverage by Beers, even as a defender tries to fight over, you're giving up a step or a half a step. And a half a step is all Paige Bueckers needs to get a really clean look.
18-point Connecticut lead. They have answered the bell in this second half. Beers putting it on the deck, rumbling inside, gets rejected by Bueckers. Paige Bueckers' 6th tournament game with 25 points and 3 steals, most by any player in the last 25 years. Here's Bueckers using this screen. Bueckers, another 30-piece for Paige Bueckers.
If a team is playing drop coverage, Ryan, UConn can just set that middle ball screen over and over and over.
Beers flips it up, gets fouled by El Alfie, and will go to the line. Paige Bueckers told us it's a go-to for us. If we need a bucket, we know we can go to that middle ball screen, and it's going to get us a great look.
And it really doesn't matter who sets it, as long as their defender is playing drop coverage. Now, if teams are using different kind of on-ball screen coverage, if Sarah Strong is setting the screen, you're still putting that defense in all kinds of trouble.
Second 30-point game this season for Paige Bueckers, doing it in back-to-back tournament games here. The only UConn player in the last 25 years with multiple 30-point games in the same NCAA tournament. Think about some of the great players you're talking about there.
Maya Moore.
Stewie.
Diana Taurasi, I guess that's farther than 25 years. Or no?
No.
That would include Diana Taurasi.
Including D, yeah. That's including half of Sue. I don't know which half. Scott hits the free throw. How?
What's remarkable, too, is this has not come without some injury bumps in the road. Devastating injuries for Paige throughout the year, but what she has done is get into this incredible routine for her body. Consistent training and recovering every single day. She does sauna, Pilates, blood flow restriction training, nutrition, sleep, hot and cold therapy. They monitor her biometrics and any asymmetries with a chip in her shoe. Her consistent body work has been next level to be playing this well and this healthy at this time of year.
And reconfirmed yesterday to Rebecca that she is entering the WNBA draft this season, where she's projected as the #1 overall pick. Bud to Bueckers, why not? She got it! Paige Bueckers has fully taken over.
Oklahoma went to a zone defense that time because they simply could not defend Paige Bueckers and the on-ball screening action when they were in their man-to-man. So what does she do? Steps out and hits a deep 3 against the zone.
20-point lead for Connecticut. Scott nearly lost her footing. Can't hit the 3. Bueckers 1 point away from matching her career high. Fudd driving it inside, out to Chen. 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Connecticut has completely taken control of this game in the second half. Bueckers wants the career high, nearly had it. You can hear the crowd anticipating it.
This is the second time in a row Paige has told her teammates, like, settle down. I think she's trying to catch her breath for a second.
Bueckers gives it up, gets it back. Bueckers 3. You bet! It's a new career high for Paige Bueckers. 36 in the Sweet 16.
Paige Bueckers has been absolutely on fire here in the second half, just working and moving. Great screen by Ice Brady. Paige Bueckers steps into it. She's feeling the career high.
Remember, at the start of the fourth quarter, Holly Rowe asked Gina Auriemma about taking this game over from Paige Bueckers.
There's times when she has the ball and the defense is, they know she's not going to shoot it. And I'm thinking, shoot it. You know, you're open. And, you know, so hopefully in the fourth quarter she'll just, I don't know. Maybe you should talk to her.
Thank you.
Well, she's done the I don't know in the fourth quarter. She scored all 15 points that Connecticut has in this fourth. She has a UConn record third career 30-point NCAA tournament game and a career-high 36 tonight as Connecticut has separated themselves from Oklahoma, a 23-point lead.
There have been times we've seen the last few possessions where early in the possession she's told a teammate, like, you keep the basketball, just so she could get a few extra seconds of rest before then going to get the ball and searching for her shot.
Oklahoma without a field goal this fourth quarter. Paige Bueckers is the only player with one. Bueckers has another. What a dish from Strong, and Bueckers has 38. Scott, no. Rebound. Williams hustling hard after it, crashes into the media table. Bueckers bounces out. Strong gives it back. It's a 40-point night for Paige Bueckers. A Connecticut record for an NCAA tournament game.
No let-up for Paige Bueckers here in the fourth quarter. The great pass from Sarah Strong to the cutting Paige Bueckers, and then another great pass from Sarah Strong for an easy one for Paige.
Paige Bueckers has outscored Oklahoma by herself by 14 in the second half. Here's Strong, a 3, short. Chan can't flip it in. Rebecca, 3:06 to go in this fourth. Is it time to get Paige Bueckers out of this game if you're Connecticut?
I think it's probably time to get all of the starters out of the game.
Here comes KK Arnold, and that will do it for Paige.
Coach Auriemma doesn't give her 5.
A UConn tournament record 40 points for Paige Bueckers. Maybe 50 gets the high five from Gino. What a second half from Connecticut after Oklahoma had built a 4-point lead at the half. Here's Verhulst twisting inside, can't finish it, and a foul here against Connecticut. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Instacart. We're here. Sarah Strong fouls out. The freshman struggled at the start of this game, but found her way as the action continued. Finishes with 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. First time she has fouled out this season. As Beers hits the free throw. Connecticut, Rebecca, how about a little bit on Oklahoma, the way that they have played this season, the heights they have soared to, which they have not seen in a while. Oklahoma under Jenny Baranczyk in her 4th season in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2013. They have Reagan Beers coming back. They have Peyton Verhulst coming back. They also have the #1 recruit in the nation, Aaliyah Chavez, who looks like an unbelievable player joining Oklahoma next season.
This has been an Oklahoma team this year that's been really fun to watch because of their style of play, the anchor that they have inside with Reagan Beers. The one thing they don't have is the break you down, create your own shot kind of a talent from the guard position. That is what Chavez brings to this team. They are going to be tough in the SEC and nationally a season from now.
Brady can't hit the jumper. Verhulst the rebound. Dump it inside. Williams twists and finishes. There's another player who Jenny Baranczyk told us she has never seen in all her years coaching a player take a bigger leap as a person from freshman to sophomore year than Sahara Williams. Says, I love her like my daughter. I'm just so proud of her, the way she's grown on the basketball court, in the classroom, as a person overall. She's another player who will be back for Oklahoma next season.
She's a player, too, I think has a really high ceiling in terms of the gifts she has at the offensive end of the floor.
Skylar Van will be done at this level after this game, getting to spend this season playing with her younger sister as Verhulst gets that 3 to wedge in. First points of the second half for Peyton Verhulst, who had scored 13 in the second quarter to propel Oklahoma to that halftime lead. But it has been all Paige Bueckers and all Connecticut in this second half. Ashlyn Shade, a big contribution off the bench in this one. Fudd short on a 3. Coming on a minute to go in this game as Williams lays it in. A reminder coming up next, it's USC against Kansas State. The winner will face Connecticut Monday night, 9 Eastern on ESPN in the Elite Eight. The Connecticut fans rising to their feet here in Spokane as Fudd splashes the jumper. All cosmetic at this point. Connecticut can dribble this one out. A career night from Paige Bueckers and a trip back to the Elite Eight for the Connecticut Huskies. 82-59 the final. As Connecticut outscores Oklahoma 50-23 in the second half. And Paige Bueckers pours in a career high 40. For the 18th time in the last 19 seasons, Connecticut is headed to the Elite Eight. Take a look at the Capital One rewarding performance. I think you can guess who authored it.
Over the course of the last 2 NCAA tournament games, Paige Bueckers has scored 74 combined points. She gets to the spot on the floor that she wants to get to, and she can hit from anywhere. Just another incredible and efficient performance from Paige Bueckers.
12 of 16 in the second half, 29 points. Holly, an incredible performance from Paige Bueckers.
Paige, all of the legends that have played at UConn and worn this jersey, all of the greats of this game, you did something tonight that none have ever done, a career high 40 in the NCAA tournament, multiple 30-point games. What does it mean to be putting your name in the history books at a place so great?
Really, it's not about me. Jana, Ice, Sarah, the way they protected the paint, this game was on them. They have a really good interior team, Reagan Beers. I got people posting up. They just protected the paint. They rebounded extremely well. They're extremely well rebounding team. They play extremely physical. So a huge shout out to them because we wouldn't have won this game without them.
There was a point in the second quarter, things weren't going great. Gino was hard on you on the bench, particularly about your defense. How did you come back out, put that out of your mind, and really take over, be mentally tough?
Yeah, just to have the next play mentality. Stuff in the past can't hurt us, and it can only make us better. As a team, we're trying to stay present and make sure that the possession we're in is the most important possession of the season. So you make mistakes, you try to learn from them. As a leader, you try to minimize those as much as possible. But as a team, we just try to capitalize and be better.
You told us the other day that you feel like this team is peaking at the right time. What did that feel like against a really good Oklahoma team as you guys continue to peak?
It felt not so great in the first half. Felt a lot better in the second half. We knew shots would fall. We thought we did well defensively, besides a couple of mental mistakes that we made as a team. I made individually. But just sticking with it, sticking to our habits, sticking to what we do, getting the same shots, trusting that they're going to fall. We work extremely hard as a team, so just trusting that and continue to play our game.
All right, thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Holly.
Maybe Paige will go sign that jersey that the fan traveled 2,695 miles to see Paige Bueckers, and what a performance. 16 for 27 from the floor, 40 points, the most points ever by a member of UConn in an NCAA tournament game. Just remarkable. Connecticut headed to the Elite Eight for the 18th time in the last 19 seasons. Will they play USC or Kansas State? That game is coming up next on ESPN. And a reminder from Spokane, tomorrow at 3 Eastern on ABC, it'll be UCLA and LSU in a rematch. Once again, the final score, Connecticut 82, Oklahoma 59. For our producer Kerry Callahan, our director Jimmy Platt, the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. I'm Ryan Rucco, and now let's get into NCAA Championship in the studio, presented by AT&T.